back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Mistborn The Deckbuilding game. So if you're not familiar with what Mistborn is, it's a series of books from Brandon Sanderson, who is a big time not sci-fi, fantasy novelist. But also this game is designed by John D. Clare, who has got a lot of great titles under his belt. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So this is being produced by Brotherwise Games in collaboration with Dragon Steel, which is Brandon Sanderson's company, I guess, who does the publishing of his books. So let's see here. Rule book. Decently thick rule book, 20 pages. We got some health dials, training tracks. Ooh, 4 sets of metal tokens. I was wondering about that. I wasn't sure if the metal tokens were some kind of pre-order bonus. Assembling the health dials, all that jazz. So, if you are not familiar with the series, kind of a spoiler-free explanation of what happens here is... Now, I'd heard about this too, that this is very weird because... So, here is... Oh, maybe these aren't metal. Okay, so these are just represent the metals. These are what I thought were metal. Okay, so no metal coins. That's a little sad, but maybe someday down the road, I'm sure somebody will produce some. But yeah, I had read that everybody was like, where is my stuff? Why is this all punched out? Some stuff has just, popped out like these, but then these are already assembled, which is kind of weird. If you knew you were going to assemble them, why bother having the spot on the boards for them? So obviously some kind of weird decisions were made in the production process. Probably they went ahead and produced these and then probably said, you know what, actually go ahead and assemble them. Because they even have, assembly instructions here in the rule book. So interesting decisions nonetheless. So yeah, we got lots of health dials here, in various player colors and whatnot. Anyways, back to the story of Mistborn. Mistborn is about, fantasy world where a ruler has taken over and he kind of rules like a tyrant. And there are these allomancers who live amongst everybody, and they can ingest metals in very small quantities, but then they can do tricks with the metals. Either it enhances their hearing or enhances their strength or I don't know, speed, night vision, things like that, or they can calm people down. And then there's the Mistborn. These are people who can use all of the allomantic powers all together, all at once. So they're like the superheroes of the realm. And then there are also people who are kind of like the opposite. They, instead of ingesting metals, they can store stuff in metals on their body. So these are like these people are like the memory keepers of the world. They are able to store memories, store strength into the metals to then be used later. Anyways, it's about, society overthrowing a tyrant. Anyways, so I'm assuming this is, these are player boards. I actually really don't know that much about this. All I know is that it was Mistborn and it was a deck building game, so I was sold. Also, John D. Clare was helpful too. John D. Clare normally has the clear sleeves that you build the cards, Mystic Veil, Edge of Darkness, things like that. I don't think there's any of that in this game, but he has done deck builders before. But here you can see everybody's going to have their various metals, and it's either going to be ready or it's going to be spent. And then you'll be training, so probably moving a marker up this. These are nice little dual layer boards here. 4 of those, 1 for each player. Okay. We've got some extra health dial assemblies, and we have some cubes. These are going to be for your various tracking boards in the various colors. So I guess you can be black, no, blue, red, yellow, purple, and then the black must be for something else. Maybe like the bad guys. The ruler. That's the Lord Ruler. That's what they call the bad guy. Okay, let's check. No, nothing secret, nothing taped underneath. It's interesting, this does say box top up here. It's a deck builder, so we're assuming that most of what we are going to be looking at were going to be cards. So let's get a closer look here. All right, so first off here we have our character cards. Marsh is the brother of the kind of hero character in the book, who has been, this says spy, if I remember correctly. He kind of turns to the dark side, but I guess he's the spy. So Kelsier, he's the main hero here. This is interesting. I've read the books, but none of them are illustrated, at least to my knowledge. So this is the first time I'm really seeing visualizations of these characters, and that's not exactly how I would have pictured him. But anyways, he's the main Mistborn character who's leading the rebellion. And then there's Vin here. He discovers Vin amongst the slaves, kind of an unknown Mistborn, and he trains her, and she's supposed to be like the all-powerful savior. So this is like Obi-Wan, and this is like Luke Skywalker here. Shan, so she's just one of the nobles. If I remember correctly, she's not very good. Ska is the term for the slaves. So Vin and Kelsier were Ska at one point. And then the Luthadel garrison, so that's the main city in the Western dominance, is Luthadel. Let's see, Keep Venture, Creedic Shaw. So these locations must mean something. Pits of Hathsin, that's where Kelsier was a slave. The Luthadel rooftops. So the thing that they can do with their metals is one of them allows them to push and one allows them to pull. And so they can throw down coins, which is, there's coins in the game, but I think they're mainly used for pushing. But they can also use metal, like in the rooftop spires and things like that. And so they can push off of a metal and then pull towards another metal, and if done correctly, they can almost just like leap through the air without ever touching anything, almost like flying. So yeah, there are so I guess there's only 4 characters. Shan is an interesting choice, in my opinion, for the 4th character, but there you go. So there's the 4 characters you can play as. I thought there might be more. And then it looks like some locations. All right, next we have, so everybody's going to have a starting deck, which I think is a mixture of these funding cards here, which just give you coins, which are purely to, let's stick these over here. These are purely just to give you purchasing power early in the game, and probably ones that you want to cull early because they don't do anything but give you some money. And then you have some character-specific cards here, like this Kelsier card. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's his 4 starting cards. So just looking at these, you can see here that to play this card, in order to activate it, you need to spend copper. Well, you could do that one of 2 ways. You could pull your copper. Let me punch one out here. They're just falling out super easily. You could pull your copper off your board here, place it onto your card, and that activates it. It's going to give you 2 attack and 1 coin. Or if you had, let's look through here and make sure I'm pulling out the right symbol. These are a little tricky. It's going to take some time to get used to the symbols here, but if you look real closely, there's this little vial. That's how they, in the books, they carry around their metals in little vials and kind of drink them down. I don't know what this other symbol here is. Brass, and actually that might be zinc. Okay, so I don't have another one. My only other copper is in copper training. Anyways, if later on I had another card that needed copper, I could, instead of playing this card to activate it here, I could turn it sideways and play it for the metals down here. So you're not always having to use the metals here that are on your board. Also on your board, you'll see that as you train, you can take up to one metal from here at the beginning, but as you train, you're hitting higher thresholds, which allow you to burn more metals from your board each turn. And then the last thing you can do outside of burning, because if you burn a metal, you use it, and it's going to come back like this, is you can flare a metal. If you flare a metal, it stays gone, though, until you refresh it, which means you drink down. So instead of playing this card to activate another one, you would simply play this card sideways or discard it to gain your copper back. So those are the mechanics in a very rough fashion. You can see that there is some attack. There's, I believe that's card draw, gaining coins to purchase other cards. So these are your starting cards, and then you have a whole deck here of other cards where you have things like allies. Again, you're going to have to burn things to activate them. Here's their costs up here, and here you can see that this would cost 1, and then 2 additionals plus 2 coppers gets you all of this. You could get this and this. Obviously, you're going to have to do that by a mixture of burning and having cards. So building your deck as you purchase cards where your metals will synergize is probably part of the strategy. I'm really liking the artwork here. Again, because I have never seen any illustrations of this world before. Is this crew leader? What's his name? There's a person that because they take Vin, the girl, she's like a slave, and they drop her into high society, into the nobles, to try and get her to eavesdrop and learn about things. And so they have this guy who is he's one of the ones who can store information. He's got like memories of everything, and he trains her to be a lady throughout the book. Anyways, last but not least, there is a solo version and a cooperative version. So you can play this against the central dominance, which is the Lord Ruler, I believe. I'm guessing he's in here somewhere here. These are like the bad guys in the game, the Haze Killers, the Inquisitors. That's who Marsh becomes. Marsh becomes an Inquisitor. They supposedly have like nails in their eyes, real creepy people, but they are basically like Mistborn. Yeah, so Inquisitors, the Militia, more Inquisitors, Kandra, House Lord, Kolos. Yeah, these are all the bad guys. The nobles are kind of like obligators, kind of do the bidding of, and there is, I'm assuming that's the Lord Ruler there, he's seemingly invincible. But yeah, so that's how you can play solo or cooperatively. You're playing against the Lord Ruler and the Central Dominance. I'm honestly not sure how you go about winning the game in competitive mode. I'm assuming there's some sort of like beat a certain number of thresholds here, but I don't actually know what the end game trigger is or how you determine who the winner is in playing multiplayer. But that's going to do it for our unboxing of Mistborn, the deck building game. Currently, I picked up my copy from Barnes & Noble. This is on, you could pre-order it from Dragonsteel, and all the pre-orders have gone out, so you could put in for Wave 2 from Dragonsteel as a pre-order. Barnes & Noble still has copies, though. I think people have kind of overlooked that. It's like a Barnes & Noble exclusive for the first wave, either Dragonsteel's website directly or Barnes & Noble during Wave 2, I believe it'll start hitting friendly local game stores, maybe even Amazon, and then maybe further on from there. But if you're really looking for one of these right now, I was able to find mine at Barnes & Noble. No problems, no issues there. But yeah, keep an eye out for more coverage of Mistborn the deck building game here on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.